Hi, everyone. Dr. Frankie Bashan here. And as many of you know, I'm a clinical psychologist, board certified sex therapist, and the CEO and founder of a large matchmaking company based in the United States. So if you're single, definitely get into our confidential directory, network, whatever you want to call it. Visit us at littlegaybook.com. Fill out a profile. We maintain everything, all of your information confidential and private. And we search and screen and vet amazing folks that are part of the LGBTQ plus community for matchmaking purposes. People come to us that are serious about relationships, that want to find a partner, and they know that we've been doing this for nearly 20 years, and they're busy in their lives. They're doing the things that they love to do, and they outsource their love life to us. So if you're single and want to get in our network because you want to meet somebody fantastic, then definitely reach out to us, fill out a profile. And if you're single and you actually want to be proactive and you want to go on amazing dates and meet amazing people, then reach out to us and schedule a call. We're always available to chat with you about how we do what we do. And we recognize a lot of people they're not familiar with matchmaking. And it's it's been around for thousands of years. But I think in terms of people considering it as an option for them, I think it's newer in more recent years, since there's been shows, matchmaking shows on Netflix and Hulu and things like that. People are now realizing, wow, this is something that actually is accessible and could be a great tool for you to find your person. So also I cover lots of topics here weekly. Love to be here with you all. Love to inform you in all the ways that I get informed on a daily basis, working face-to-face with clients, matchmaking clients, therapy clients, coaching clients, and so on, who are trying to date smarter, who are trying to grow themselves, who are doing the internal grooming. And it's not just about maintaining yourself externally so that you look like, right? You look like you take good care of yourself. You want to take care of yourself on the outside as well. But internally, there's a lot of work to do as well. We have traumas, we have history that's passed down that we sometimes carry unconsciously that gets in the way. It blocks us from intimacy. It blocks us from vulnerability. It blocks us from growing and, receiving and giving love. So I cover it all here. So definitely hang in, subscribe. For those of you that have, thank you for that. Thanks for being here. Thanks for supporting me and reminding me I'm doing exactly what I should be doing every day. So, and those of you that are new, thank you for trusting me and giving me a chance to support you on your life's journey, whether it be personal growth, relationship growth, a combination of it all. So with all that said, let's just jump into today's topic, which is edging and orgasm control, how it can elevate pleasure. Yeah, I want all of that. Elevate pleasure, sign me up. For many of us, orgasming is the goal of sex or masturbation, except when it's not. Edging, or the practice of orgasm control or delay, is gaining in popularity as a sexual practice that's easy to try solo or with a partner. Not sure what edging is or why you'd want to try it? Today I'm going to share everything you need to know. So what is edging? We're hearing it more and more these days. Edging describes the practice of delaying, controlling, or stopping an orgasm, either your own or someone else's, before it actually happens. It can be related to orgasm denial or even chastity, and can sometimes occur in the context of a relationship with a power dynamic. But it can also be something someone practices solo in the form of masturbation. People practice edging for a multitude of reasons. Sometimes the goal is to just make sex last longer, especially if one or both partners have a long refractory period and sex might end or pause if they orgasm. Edging can also have a role in a BDSM relationship, where one person is being denied or refused an orgasm as part of a power differential. Some people also like edging because they feel it makes their orgasm, when they do eventually have one, even more intense or enjoyable, either in the context of partnered sex or solo masturbation. So how does edging work? The basic premise of edging is simple. It involves decreasing or stopping stimulation when either yourself or your partner are close to orgasming, and pausing before building back up to a higher intensity of sensation. This can look like touching yourself or your partner up until the edge of orgasm and then pausing to give them a few minutes to cool down before continuing. It can also look like a start-stop rhythm, where you alternate touching or stimulating someone with brief pauses to tease or frustrate them and draw out the total amount of time you spend having sex. You can divert your attention or stimulation to other parts of the body less likely to lead to orgasming during these pauses, like stroking your partner's nipples or some impact play. If you or your partner have a penis, you may also use the squeeze method in addition to or instead of the previous method. When the person with a penis is close to orgasming, you can pause, stimulating the penis, and instead squeeze just the end of the penis gently for about 30 seconds, which will help delay orgasm as well. Solo edging versus partner play. Practicing edging solo during masturbation is a great way to get started with edging, since you can feel your own internal sensations. You can pay attention to when you're close to orgasming and work on slowing or stopping your stimulation. If you're using a vibrator or other toy, you can just hit the off button or pull it away. If you have a penis, you can try using the squeeze method to cool down and delay orgasming when you feel yourself getting close. Edging with a partner takes a little more concentration and attunement. Ideally, you can recognize when your partner is close to orgasm, but it's also helpful for them to communicate with you about how they're feeling and when you should pause. If you and your partner are playing as part of a power dynamic, you may have your partner ask you for permission to orgasm, which you can either grant or deny and continue edging. How to practice edging safely. There are no physical, safety, or health risks to edging. You can safely experiment with delaying or controlling orgasm for yourself and your partner. If you're using toys to edge yourself or a partner, make sure they've been properly cleaned and sanitized to avoid any communicable STIs or infections like UTIs. And if you're playing with edging in a BDSM context, it's important to have prior discussions about limits, consent, and emotional safety. Power dynamics can be very hot and also very charged, so it's important to keep all of those things in mind. Common mistakes to avoid. Sometimes trying to control or delay orgasms imprecisely and can lead to the opposite effect. The person being edged might orgasm, but in a diminished, less satisfying way instead of the intense, powerful orgasm most people are looking for from edging. If this happens, it may be that the timing of your pausing or cooling down is off. Try experimenting with different timing. Make sure that when you do stop and start stimulation, you're starting back up again slowly and building up the intensity of stimulation patiently to bring yourself or a partner back to the brink of orgasm over time. With practice, you can experience much greater control over you or your partner's orgasms and enjoy everything edging has to offer. Like anything, folks, practice makes perfect. So give yourself some room, to not get it right in the beginning, knowing that the more you practice, the more you pay attention, the more you experience it yourself, you're going to be able to better understand your partner and support one another, right? Like it's all about sex positivity, exploration, curiosity, and at the end of the day, fun and joy, like pleasure. Let's have more of that, please. Yes, yes, yes. All right, everyone. I'll see you next week. Kisses, hugs. So glad to be here with you all. See you then.